What's up YouTube, Cap over here, and welcome to week 6 of the RBLS. We're returning from break and going against the Jewish Giraffe, coach of the San Francisco Girafarigs, who are 2-2 at the moment. But before we get into the battle itself, I'll talk a little about the team and what I really prepped for, what was going on in my head, or something like that. It's unexplainable. But we can tell that the clay doll is there, and most likely he's going to lead off with the clay doll because in the past battles he has led off with it. So that's a pretty good, strong candidate for leading off. So I figured, hey, I've planned for turn 1 for such a long time, and Tornadus has taunt, so we can get that out of the way there, and simply U-turn after that if he wants to do anything cheeky, and that'll give me a lot of momentum. Then after that, I've got my speed controller, that being the Meow Stick. Meow Stick can Thunderwave Aerodactyl, Darmanitan, Azumarill, and at some point even the Skunk Tank can get paralyzed. And finally, my win condition is preserving the Charizard X, who has Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, and Dragon Claw. It's a pity that he doesn't have any grass Pokemon or anything that really gets affected by Fire Punch because, well, Rotom, yeah, they don't care about the Fire Punch. So that's sort of a slot wasted right there. It might affect me later on in the battle, but we'll get right into it. And like I said, I've been planning for turn 1 for such a long time, so without any hesitation, I just picked Tornadus. As we see Hulk, the clay doll is gonna appear, and I'm like, alright, this is what I wanted. So I clicked taunt, and we'll get this thing taunted, which means it cannot set up any stealth rocks. Stealth rocks are a big pain in my butt if that were to happen, so I can just go for a U-turn over here, do a decent amount of damage. So this tells me that this thing isn't really invested in defense as much as I thought it would, and it also has the Rocky Helmet, so that's not bad information to get. And I can just go into Ouchie Mama over here, as we see this thing has Ice Beam, which is something I did not predict at all, but that does a decent amount of damage considering Ouchie Mama has decent special defense, and this thing doesn't really have much special attack. So it tells me that this thing is invested in special attack, as I'm just going to go for either a Thunder Wave or a knockoff because I know he's going to switch out. There's no point of him staying in, so I go for a knock off this thing's Scarf, and I'm looking pretty good at this moment. Turn 3 is everything has been going accordingly to plan, and I'm just going to switch over to my Meowstic Catarot and simply let him take this hit. If it is a Jolly one, it's going to do 50. If it's Adamant and a High Roll, it's going to do a lot of damage. So we see that this does a decent amount of damage. It does way over a decent, and I figured, hey, he's probably going to want to knock this thing out, but he sends out Hulk, and I'm like, alright, rocks are going to come up. I should switch into my Charizard X because most likely I can get a Dragon Dance up, and yada yada. But what I didn't really account for was Charizard X is my win condition, and I sort of misplayed this Charizard X big time over here. I guess the thing that really resulted in my decision was rocks. I knew rocks were going to come off, and if I can get the D-Dance up or not getting 50% because I don't have Roost, then I could make this work out, or I could possibly knock out this clay doll. But we can see over here that it wasn't the best play to make. Staying here, going for the Dragon Claw, and doing all of these shenanigans. I have other things to deal with this Hulk, and I simply don't do that. So huge misplay, sacking off my El Capitan, my really huge win condition over here. And yeah, that sort of sucked. That wasn't a really good play to do. So this is the play I should have gone into right away. I should have gone to Asuna, my Meloetta, and simply just go for a Shadow Ball instead of a U-turn, because I thought he was going to use this for Death Water, but looking back at it now, it makes sense that he just sacked this thing off, because most likely he doesn't want to take a Shadow Ball from anything. And fortunate for me, I can actually get priority and switching, or not priority, I can switch out my Meloetta without worrying about Skunk Tank having Pursued or Sucker Punch or any of that. And I can just bring in Lemonade, but Skunk Tank actually has a decent move pool in which that could be Sucker Punch, Pursuit, Fire Blast, and Poison Jab, which pretty much hits a lot of my teams. So Lemonade's gonna take this Poison Jab, and I'm just gonna go for a Wish over here. And at this moment, I'm like, wait, this was I regret my decisions immediately after this because I don't really have a switch in. And I'm actually just gonna sack off my Sylveon. Yay. So once again, another pointless sack, and I have to go into Ouchie I know Fire Blast is coming my way because the Jewish Giraffe did his homework, and yeah, so this is gonna happen. This is gonna hurt a lot, but it's not gonna take me down. He lands his Fire Blast, which is alright, as I'm gonna go for a Thunder Wave, and I'm dancing around this Skunk Tank way too much. I'm playing way too cautious at this moment, and it's severely costing me 3 Pokemon already. Charizard X, Sylveon, and now Ferrothorn is going to go down to this Fire Blast, which it will connect once again. And I'm looking like I can't win this battle, so at this point, I have to go for differential. Right now he's up, I believe it's 5-0, or 5-3. And it's a long shot for me to possibly winning this battle, but there's a couple things that I do have to do in order to change the differential, which is paralyze or flinch this thing. It sucks, but it has to happen because Skunk Tank is a problem, a big thorn on my side, as I do take out the Skunk Tank with a crit. Does it matter? It might, but ultimately it just changed the differential as Choopy comes out the Azumarill. I'm like, alright, Tornadus is going to go down thanks to Aqua Jet, so I got to set up my Tailwind. There's one possibility that I win, and it involves a bunch of luck, a bunch of luck, and a lot of one-shotting. And I don't foresee it happening. I don't at all. So I have to set up my Tailwind, and I know Catarot has to set up the Reflect because I will have 8 turns of Reflect with this thing. And hopefully Meloetta can take one Aqua Jet or something from those 3 other mons. So the only thing that's really standing in my way is the Rotom Wash, because I need to take out the Rotom Wash ASAP, and I need to make sure I still have the Tailwind up to outspeed a lot of his mons. But he's going to withdraw, make the proper play, and go into clean sheets the Rotom, which means I don't have a lot of turns of Tailwind. So we're going to see that this does not a lot of damage. I have to go for the Shadow Ball and hope for the special defense drop or something like that. We can tell that it might be a one more turn of this, as he lands 2 Hydro Pumps too. As I'm gonna land my Thunderbolt once again. I think Thunderbolt did a bit more, and we're just gonna crawl our way through that and thankfully take out the Rotom. So at this moment we're gonna lose the match because this Shofu outspeeds me, and that's GG. We're gonna lose this match quite badly. We did not play up to par, and kudos to the Jewish Giraffe for really prepping for this battle. The really good thing about having this loss, it's not a good thing to have a loss, but what you can take from this is I learned a lot from this battle, and I learned a lot rewatching this because I did rewatch it over and over again, and sometimes you're yelling at the screen, you're like, why did I do that? That's not good. That's not good at all. So I learned a lot. I learned what my weaknesses were, and I played a really reckless while the Jewish Giraffe played the way that he should have played, and really smart, and it really worked out for him because the Claydol being that special attacker and taking down Charizard X was huge, while the rest of his mons really were prepped up for the rest of my team. So hopefully we can bounce back, as next week we're gonna have another tough match. Another tough match, there we go, not tough. Another tough match against the Bavarian Beedrills, the champion of Season 1, coached by Alex Louis. So we got a lot of prepping to do, and we gotta move on forward from this, not devastating, but this discouraging loss. It was pretty discouraging. So we lost both of our league games, and that sucks a bit, but we're gonna bounce back. I'm gonna get going. We are 3-2. Hopefully we're gonna do better next time. This is Cap, signing off.